These last couple days, and especially today, I just felt like, my tolerance was like non-existent. So before I get moody and before I get in my feelings, I'll take time to pray about it and sit with God. Like, God, what is this? Because, I told you I'm sensitive to the presence of the Lord. I'm sensitive in the spirit. So many times what I'm feeling, what I'm enduring, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, a lot of times that is God trying to convey a message. Well, anyway, as far as my tolerance being non-existent, like I even put on one of our black labels today. This is our mood enhancer with our 3 steps. It's different from the regular patches that I wear. But the Lord was telling me, remember the video that I did about, I was talking about the rooster. I was talking about me being in the space for 6 months where, thank you, Holy Spirit, the Lord was just requiring me to be content like Paul. Be content in a little, be content in much. Like even with the little bit of wisdom or revelation or provision and downloads that he was giving, to be content in that. And he said the 6 months that I sat in that time space, like that I was a good steward in that I passed that test, that I was not like Peter and denied him. That was the part about the rooster with the message. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch that message. But I say that to say, and I'm like, okay, God, but why this feeling of just feeling like I don't have tolerance, things I used to entertain. I don't have the energy, the appetite to entertain those things anymore. And he was like, you're feeling what I feel, the Lord. There was a time that many of you, the Lord spoke, you didn't see anything. The Lord was confirming and continued to confirm, to show signs of what he spoke, to back up what he spoke, but you didn't see anything. The Lord was speaking. You heard him clearly, but you didn't see anything. The Lord was requiring, or how do I say this, Holy Spirit? The Lord was letting you know that you were in the season to see what he had spoken, but again, you didn't see anything. That was a time frame where the Lord was testing your heart, your mood, your posture, your attitude, like all of that good stuff. That tied back to what I was saying about having a spirit like Paul and being content. The Lord is now, this is the moment now in this hour where he's fed up. The Lord is fed up. What he used to grace, what he used to cover, what he used to overlook, what he used to wink at, what he used to allow many to get away with, his tolerance, like his grace is no longer covering that. So for those of you who were standing and interceding for someone, you were standing in the gap, the Lord wants you to know that now is the time for you to see him act. Although he spoke it before, and it's not like he spoke it and it wasn't true. You got to understand that God is spirit. So with that being said, it's already set in the spirit. When he says now, many times that now is in the spirit before it's in the natural. Does that make sense? Now is the time for the natural to reflect, thank you, Holy Spirit, what was already done, what was already set, what was already decreed in the spirit. Now is the time for the natural to reflect that. So now many of you will begin to see what the Lord had been telling you, what he had been confirming, what he had been saying, what he had been speaking, the messages that he had been giving you. And I know that's, it's a funky time. It's a strange time because it's like, God, you're not a man that you shall lie. I know what you've said. I know what you've been confirming. I know what you've been speaking, but I've yet to see anything about that. You were in a space where it was already set, it was already done, it was already happening, but it was happening in the spirit realm before it was made manifest in the natural. In the midst of that, God was still examining your heart. He was examining your posture, your attitude, and so forth. For those of you who passed that, and the Lord should have been confirming that you passed, you made it, you endured, job well done, good and faithful steward. Don't take this message if it's not yours. But for those of you who have passed that, now is the time, like what God was covering for so long. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Because here's the thing. God is so sovereign. While it was decreed in heaven, while it was spoken in spirit, while you were waiting for manifestation in the natural, and he was examining your heart, he was also withholding the judgment and correction for what he told you he was going to do. He was withholding it because it's like the ball had to get rolling. Things had to be set in place. Things had to be in motion. Now that time has come, God spoke it. It was decreed in heaven. It was spoken and set in the spirit realm. I hope you guys are following. Now it's made manifest in the natural. Now it's time for you to see in the natural what God had been speaking in the spirit for so long, what he had been confirming in the spirit for so long. I think that's where many of us, because I remember falling victim to that also. God, well, you keep saying it. You keep saying now, and I haven't seen a now yet. God's now is not our now. His ways and his thoughts are above ours. So much of what God says, all of what God says, thank you, Holy Spirit, is spirit first. And you got to understand that when God says, like, you're here, you've arrived, you've crossed over, and you're just like, how this, it don't look like I'm in Kansas anymore, Toto. Like, what is this? That what is this is you're waiting for that now to be this now. Does that make sense? So I hope this gives you some type of encouragement just to know that, again, what the Lord was gracing, what he was covering, what it seems like he was allowing others to get away with and winking at and just excusing their lifestyle and excusing their rebellion and excusing their disobedience and excusing their wayward ways. Now, what I was saying, what I felt this morning heavy in the spirit about, I just don't have tolerance for this. I don't have an appetite for this. I can't entertain what I was once entertaining before. But before I acted on that, that was the Lord conveying a message to me. So I hope you guys were following. If not, drag the little slider back and watch this again and ask Holy Spirit to give you understanding.